streaming. Hey, y'all, welcome. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but I think we're up and running. It's Tuesday, March 12th, 2024, here on HamiltonRadio.net, Hamilton iHeartRadio. Tonight I have with me, oh my gosh, is she not beautiful? I mean, the most gorgeous.
You're so sweet.
The incredible Rachel Stacey. Talented, hardworking, and certainly beautiful. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you, Sue. So good to be here.
Oh, I'm so glad that you are. Sorry for the problems. I saw that you were on stage last night with Junior Clark.
Yes.
And trading licks, and girl, you were just playing your butt off.
I did play my butt off. I don't know if you noticed it's gone.
Doesn't matter. You were.
Right. Thank you.
What was that? What was that experience like? I know that you have played with quite a few different, major players, but is it something that's kind of scheduled, or do you just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go see him. Hey, you want to come up on stage? And
No. I was the artist on stage, and then Guthrie Kennard goes, I think I'm gonna pull this off. Rachel Stacey and Junior Clark, get over there. And we love playing together. Junior and I played together for years, so it's kind of cool. I get to play with a lot of guitar legends, and that's always the best. Like, I wouldn't have met Junior if it wasn't for Jimmy Wallace. Jimmy Wallace runs the International Guitar Festival.
right.
And Jimmy and I had our thing. We have our little side project we do, and I've shared the stage with some of the most legendary guitar players. So I used to get really intimidated, but Jimmy kind of snapped me out of that a few years ago. And so when they're like, go over there and jam with someone like Junior Clark, I'm like, I'm in. And then I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I've got my fiddle. I'm like, I don't know.
Aren't they the best though? The impromptu things. It's just like, hey, I'm going to have somebody come out of the audience. And I always do that. I'll pull somebody out of the audience, and you want to play, you want to come up and sing with me, that kind of thing.
Nice. This is
that stuff.
I love when people are like that. But this was our show, our concert, and we were so far away from our audience. There's thousands of people there, and that you can't see all the people, and you can hear the screams of people like enjoying that whole back and forth thing, And even though Guthrie Kennard's singing his butt off, I'm singing my butt off, and everyone's playing their butts off. It's just the crowd gets excited. But my point was, we couldn't have pulled someone up on stage if we wanted. They were so far away. It was just one of those audiences. You're like, hey,
That's one of the things, I like to feed off of the audience.
Yes, I like them up at the stage. I'm like, can you guys come a little closer? Because it's a festival,
They don't want you too close, and they've got the bar up and things of that nature. But I like to reach out, touch people, or give the mic and have the crowd sing. I like that type of camaraderie between, the audience and myself or the players. You just feed off of that. I mean, I do, and obviously you do too.
I'm just like you. So okay, very well said. Because the crowd, there's thousands of people there. They have it, hundreds, thousands. I don't know. There's a lot of people there.
Right.
And because the gate was so far back, I call it we're in the zoo as artists. And they're enjoying it. Obviously they're on lawn chairs and everyone's spread out. But because we didn't have the audience heat up against us, I think the band that night created the heat. Like each of us were like, it's crazy. Like, so we were feeding off of each other's energy.
Exactly. Yeah.
We had to. We didn't have you can see the audience. Again, you guys, they weren't so far away, but they weren't like Sue's talking about, or like I love to reach out and touch hands and, you know, and like high five. And sometimes if it depends on the stage, I'll go out in the audience and play fiddle. I don't know if you've ever seen those videos where I'll jump up on a table, I'll run through the crowd and play fiddle.
And that's the best stuff. But yeah, when you're not close enough to the audience, you have to bring it on stage. So, you know, you have to go off of the energy that the whole band is bringing on.
Right, exactly.
You
Well,
know,
I think the coolest part about playing with some of those guitar players is guitar players play with guitar players all the time. So when you get a fiddle player playing with a guitar player, I mean, I'll do it with my guitar too, but it brings a different energy out of the guitar player. I really love it. They bring this different energy out of me. So it's because I'm watching their licks, and you know, I'm really a hardcore musician. Yes, I'm a songwriter. Yes, I'm a player. You know, I goof off with all my instruments. But when it comes down to it, I'm learning everything they're doing. I'm watching. I'm like, God, he's so good. What's he doing? The bass player can be killer, and I'm like, his fingers are so long. And I half the time can't even enjoy the song because I'm so into the technique of the musician.
and well, when you're with your band, do you find that you kind of coordinate like, okay, we're going to do a breakdown here on this song, or, you know, even with some of your original stuff, let's do one thing that's my favorite is let's give it to the drummer, and you do a complete breakdown, and it's like drums are going, you know, and then okay, then I have hand signals, and I'll be like, okay, let's bring the bass in, you know, and that sort of thing. And that's kind of the thing I like to feed off of, because it's you don't do that at rehearsal. You don't do that at practice. It's kind of like on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually do. And it's funny you just said that. My bass player, we just got booked. I've got shows with the NRA. I've got Little Texas. I've got some stuff coming up. And my my bass player just texted. He wrote who we have on key. Oh, are we going to work on the show at all before any of these dates? It was like, because we get stuck in a pattern, and then we sometimes have to change up our show. And my drummer is Rick's been with me for several years. He loves those breakdowns and pullbacks, and I write breakdowns. I mean, that's how I write. You've heard my music. I like starts and stops. If I like my latest single, no, I kept it traditional straight through, but I like those. But sometimes we have to work it out as a band. But there's a few nights my drummer's taken over and continued to play drums and got us all into a funk. It was so cool. Yeah, I love those moments. Yeah. But now, hold on. But I do have players who don't like that, you know, like, what? Why did he go off script? I'm like, okay, well, sometimes it sucks, but most of the time it's so much. It's just he was feeling it. He was just feeling it, you know.
Yeah, and I can certainly relate, you know. And then it's like, okay, so you're playing in a 4/4, and then changes it up, and he does something funky.
And it's like, yeah.
Oh, that's not expected, but I think we can get out of this. You know,
right? Exactly.
Like, okay, how the hell am I going to get out of this one? You know, it's like.
Well, I think it's really great that what you said something is when I first started the industry, Lemmy from Motorhead and Slim from Stray Cats were kind of my mentors out in Hollywood, and Lemmy and Slim sat me down and said, "Okay, here's the deal. If you're going to look like this," and I really looked like a lost Barbie when I came to Hollywood. I was like, what's happening? This is so fabulous.
Really?
I really was so tourist cheerleader. And they're like, okay, first of all, we got to cool you up. Second of all, they said, know how to talk to your band, know your instrument, know how to guide your band, stay off the casting couch, have fun while you're doing music, not the casting couch, and know the industry. And I never knew what they were saying until probably, you know, I've been doing music, you know, for my whole life. But as far as when I went professional, to have that kind of guidance was really cool, because they were basically saying, if you're going to be like this, it's not like the boys can talk to boys differently. Female leading a band, two different things. And I like to tell people the difference between, unfortunately, this is our industry. So the dudes can come in and go, dude, get off the kick. And they're like, okay, man. And they'll do it, and this is not
Yes.
this is not a sexist thing, you guys. It's just fact. A girl can go, dude, get off the floor. Like, why are you talking to me that way? I'm like, he just talked
Because
to
I
me that
know.
way. Well, it's because I know what I like, whatever.
Yes.
But then with my band, I love my band is so I just over these years I've just developed a relationship where I'm like, I don't like that. Can we pull back on that? And my drummer's like, yeah, let's try something different. Or my bass player, I'm like, that's a little busy. Can we just more like, white satin, I don't know, or something, whatever. And I've learned that from my mentors. This great communication skill. And if I don't like something on stage, I mean, I have been the queen of messing up my own songs. Like, this is so bad. But if you have a solid band behind you, they will. Here's what I think a good band is. Point is, yes, the song calls for this, but I'm still the lead singer and I may mess up. Follow me. Please
Yes.
follow
me. Right.
Don't make me look like a fool. And it's so great. I have players like that. They're watching me. They're, every once in a while we're not watching each other because we're like into it. We're like, oh, we're enjoying.
Right.
Anyone that knows me knows that I am the type that says, I love to show my players off. I love showing them off. It just makes me happy. But there are shows that it is straight concert and it's straight through. There are stops, there are starts, there are times I talk, but then there's our jam nights when we play longer. I call them 9 to 5s. And then, but most of the time, by the time you get to the stage, you should be having fun. And if you're not, you're definitely in the wrong business because there are moments that aren't fun and you're going to mess up and you're going to have bad moments.
Right.
I did a show recently where God loved this person and I was just playing fiddle for this person. Fabulous. The drummer threw an attitude because he was just having an off night and you could feel it on stage. And in my head, all I could think is, dude, who cares? Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Peace, love, and music, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
But it was a reminder that I can get real caught up in messing up. And no, by the time you hit the stage, you should have fun. And if you have those moments of going off kilter and playing the drums, enjoy it, I haven't always been like that though. So maybe some old musicians would be like, wow, she's really relaxed. But when I was a newbie, I was just like, what's happening?
And the thing with that I was told a long time ago was I had a manager that said to me, Sue, you're going to go through a ton of players in your lifetime of playing. Okay. And you're the only person that's not going to change. You're going to screw up once in a while, but you're the only one that's not going to change. So I can, 1 month I can have one band and then have a different drummer or whatever the situation calls for, because they so easily, sometimes they're playing they feel that they're playing too often.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, not, especially where I live in Pennsylvania. So like, it's more like, no, my wife doesn't want me. And I'm like, well, your wife's not part of the band. I'm like, to be honest, I'm kind of like one of the guys.
Yeah. You're
and I talk, I swear. And I guess sometimes I can be really difficult, and not because I want to be difficult, but because I want it to sound right. And I want it to be right. So like, if we're going to do 3-part harmony and you're floating all the time, yeah, okay, I may mess up too. But given that, I at least need you to be about 90% worth of on your harmony, and you're playing your instrument, and you're playing the bass line the way it's supposed to be played. And it's like, if we're rehearsing, it's like, break it down. No, that's not the bass part. Well, yeah, it is. That's the bass part. I'm like, the hell it is. I think you and I come from that same kind of
Yes.
cloth that and when you say stay off the couch,
Casting couch.
how often do we get hit on? And I can oh geez, here we go. We're going back in the day. But how often? Hey, you want to make an extra couple $100 tonight? I'm like, rotate, buddy, because no, I'm not doing it for them. But most of all, I'm not doing it for you because don't even give me that shit. Don't play that stuff with me.
Right.
Okay. I had a huge opportunity in Vegas, and I was just getting ready to sign the deal. It was a great freaking deal, and this was a while ago. And then the guy said to me, right before I started to sign, I had the pen in my hand. He whispered in my ear, "If you take care of me, I'll take care of you." I was like, "Oh, really?" My manager at the time was a black guy. So I took the contract and I ripped it up. I swear to God, he almost turned white because it was just like, "What are you doing? This is a great deal." I'm like, "Yeah, you don't know the whole story." And I walked out of the place. And he's like, "What's going on?" I go, "I am not sleeping my way to further my career."
Right.
I just that's part of my scruples. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
Like 35 years later. No, I'm kidding.
Funny.
But I mean, they do. It's a tough business. It was really tough back in the 80s and in the 90s, and it's like they just felt that if you were a female a female musician, that they could go ahead and request whatever it was. We show you this shiny new toy, but you're going to have to do this to get it. Homegirl doesn't play that way. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that you've been up against that on occasion.
It's really interesting. We were just talking about this with some other people that in my actual entire career, I can tell you how many times. Okay, I was roofied once at a club in Hollywood, and it was from a guy that was claiming that they could do a lot for our band, and I was new to LA, and he met us out, and we were all out. We went to watch another band after I'd played somewhere off Sunset Boulevard, and the whole band and I went out. And it was one of those total badass bands that they costume up and like they have a big monster like Iron Maiden. It was so great. They were so good.
Right.
We're having such a good time, and I had my drink in my hand. I was like doing this, I was like holding my drink like this. Well, that guy was standing next to me. We're enjoying everything, whatever. I didn't have a drink of it. And I drank a drink of it. That was my only drink. And probably about 30 minutes later, I don't remember anything. I just remember somebody taking me out of the venue. And a group of people were like, "What are you doing?" And it was my band that saw this guy trying to leave with me. And that was kind of my wake up call, because I'm such a nice person in LA. I was just really, really nice. I didn't realize motives, and that guy never showed up again. And I probably could have, you couldn't prove, but he disappeared. But it was like, he was a guy that was like, "Yeah, I'm going to introduce you to so-and-so, and we're going to do this. And like, we're going to do this."
Right.
I was so enamored. I was like, "This is so cool. You believe in me." And so it hardened me that I don't know where that guy was taking me. But was very scary for me. So, I woke up to my band basically putting me to bed, and they said it was clenching my purse. It was weird. But my point is not to scare anybody, but, and I, again, had one drink, the first drink of the night, and then I blacked out. First of all, that's the dangers of Hollywood or anywhere. But The other side was that I was so trusting. I was literally like, oh my gosh, you love my music? Not been on the road long enough that's before I ever toured. This is before my band ever got a deal, and it was like, and that's when Lemmy and Slim, I'd met them shortly after, and they kind of took me under their wings. Happened in Harry in Hollywood, if everybody remembers him. They had me under their wings. My band that formed, they had me under their wings on the road all the time. I was, of course, I ended up almost marrying my bass player, but it was like, you end up with big brothers on the road. And what had happened, I was kind of shielded from that at one point. Then you come back and if you're doing solo stuff, by the time I came to Texas, it was happening all over again. And I wouldn't pay attention to a guy, and so they wouldn't book me anymore. Girls, this happens. It still happens today.
Yes, it's still happening today.
You will not get booked or something like that or if he really likes you, he'll book you. Stuff like that. It's just, and then you know what? So here's I always say my advice is you surround yourself with winners, and you surround yourself with people who got your back. And I'm a good person, and I've got my band's back. I've got my people's back. So therefore I attract it. And versus before, when I was completely a ditz, like walking around with my eyes this big, I was attracting people who did not have my best interest in mind. And it was very scary. There's many times I was such a mess. My band went off on me. We were touring, and I'm so trusting. I just took off with some guy on his Harley. I just went on a ride. We're in the middle of sound check. It's 1:30 in the afternoon. It's a huge concert, a festival. And I would just decide to get off stage and went on a bike ride. I come back, you would have thought 5 of my dads were standing on stage. They're standing there like, what the? I mean,
yeah.
Went off on me. And I was just like, wow, I was just having fun. But what I recognized it was still the same way. Like my first bike rally I ever played was, the Sturgis, which I've played on and off for years. And first trip there, the band had their eye on me the entire time. By the time we left, all the bikers had been taking care of me. And then I had Mike Ballard from Full Throttle and Jesse James Dupree taking care of me.
Right.
All the people. And what I mean is, if you surround yourself with that kind of people, that kind of crowd, you've got their back, they've got yours. Yeah. But it still happens, even with my crowd around me. And it's like, this guy came up to me tonight, and he wasn't asking me out or anything, but I'm so paranoid. I was like, I'm not dating. I'm not dating anyone. I was like, I was so like nervous. So I was like, and he's like, oh, I wasn't asking you out. I was like, oh, sorry.
I'm so used to it,
Well, no, I'm actually, I don't know if I scare people or what they think, or I'm kind of we're women leading a band. So you're a little bit more intimidating to, my relationship before couldn't handle what I did for a living. Most of them can't. So
right.
Just what I am. But I love it because the people I surround myself is, my label, the people out there. And I just got off with my label head earlier. And I mean, I had him cracking up. It just, if you're real, you will attract real. And then the people that come forward and do what Sue's talking about, that you got to have the balls you just had, Sue. Because I'll never forget, I didn't sign a contract because I was warned to not sign the contract. But I said no. I went to a very large attorney. I said, I put the contract in front of him, and he goes, if you sign this, I will never help you. And he was huge. This is a big attorney with Interscope and Sony. So I was like, I'm going to listen to everybody. I mean, these were attorney. And what happened when I came back and counter offered being a female, that guy, who the F does she think she is of this particular record label? Who the F does she think she is? A little diva B. I mean, just went off. And the producer that was working, with our project at the time, I think he pulled out too. But the point is that I don't think it was always female. It's just any artist, but females have it a little tougher. There's gonna be people who say, "Oh, you're stupid," but females do have it a little different. And because we don't know if your motives are really pure or not. Do you like my music?
Yeah, I do.
I don't, but you get it. I don't, not you, like a man. Do you like my music? Because thank you for I'm Dolly Parton. I love makeup. I love hair. I love lashes. I love fashion. But do you love my music? That's what matters to me most.
And that's what you're doing. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, of course I'm going to show up. I'm going to look good, but that's a given. But do you like the music? That's the whole thing about it. You
Yeah.
know?
Do you really like the artist, or is this a you know, I don't know, or is this a dating service? No. So, but I don't have to deal with that as much anymore. And I think that's just like you did. I learned how to set boundaries that I didn't know how to do back then. You know, I was very new to this industry.
Well, you know, you mentioned the fact about you had been in relationships that couldn't handle it. I've had that. You know, I was married for a minute, and, and it's like I want to be the rock star in this family, and you know, in this relationship. I'm like, hey, get yourself somebody else because it's not going to happen. You know, I mean, it was just the jealousy over it all, and you know as well as I do that you have to talk to your audience afterwards. You sign autographs. You do what you do. I worked at a music store in the guitar department. So, it's like,
Ah, you get it.
yeah. Oh yeah. It's what I do. It's what I know, and why are you jealous? Because come
Or
the end of the night, I'm going home with you.
here's the bottom line. I love what I do. Anyone who knows me has known me since I was a little girl. Was like, she's always been music. That's what she bleeds. So why would you want me to do anything else? And this is who I am. This is what I am. And it doesn't mean I don't love you. It just means I love my passion, and you be part of my puzzle. Don't be part of the problem. Be part of my puzzle. And it always seems to create a problem. It's like, and it was just like, in the relationship side for me is where I'm at with my career right now. There's so much going on that the drama that I ensued from the relationships I was in was distracting me from my true purpose, and that is music. So I feel like any relationship, like the people I surround myself with, we have one thing in common.
Yes.
It's called passion, dreams, and we're helping each other out. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. That's business. But at the same time, and it's transactional. Unfortunately, we get older and it becomes business. I'm, in a strange way, most of my friends are also in the same business, or we kind of lift each other up.
Right.
And you want to come in as a relationship and change that. That's like me telling you to stop being an attorney. That's like me telling you to stop working at the trash company. I mean, no matter what your passion or drive is, you jump into that circle. Don't try to be out of the circle. And I've noticed as a female musician, the story I hear from all of us, this is exactly what you said. And I wouldn't have said it was jealousy, but maybe that you said it is.
Because they're jealous because you're getting more attention than they are.
Oh, wow!
So
really?
and I'm even the type of person that, okay, well, I do this type of music, you do that type of music, okay?
Okay.
I've made connections all my life, or most of my life, I will help you get there. I'm very easy to get along with in that right. But the jealousy and the pulling and that sort of stuff, girlfriend, I do not have time for it.
Well, if people knew, or if one of the things I like to always talk about is the music business. This is not the music hobbyist.
Mm-hmm.
Music business, and I go to work every day. Like, this is still work for me. This is fun for me. I love it. But there's a promotion behind it. There's, you believe in my music, I believe in what you do. There's a bond between, we speak the same language. And then, but I go to work all day today has been all business all day long. I hang up with you, and I still have work to do. I have assets to do for a new music release. I have a board on the wall that every one of my releases this year is sitting right there. I've got check marks. I've got promo material. I'm like, and if you're jealous of my work, we have a problem, because this is work. This isn't like, I don't just show up on stage and I do a concert. Sometimes I sit at the piano and I sit at my piano and
Right.
things out. And by the way, if we're watching TV together and I get an idea, I might leave the TV show. It's just, I'm sorry I can't sit and just always relax with you. There's going to be times for that. Meaning, Sue, I feel like artists, we just are misunderstood. We're completely misunderstood, because it's not a 9-to-5 job that I go clock in and leave at 5.
Right.
So here's my day today. This is goofy. Okay. I love it because we're females, so we can talk about this. So I went and had my quarterly little like Botox and stuff like that, because I'm a girl and we're anti-aging all the time. And Lemon Avenue is, I'm one of the influencers for them. And I went and had my touch up from Peyton and Carrie, and it's like an hour, and I visit with them because they're all just I just love those girls so much. And then, and by the way, Dr. Duber did my work. But so I leave there, I go to another meeting for music, and then I hang up there and I get on a Zoom call for a television music thing that we're doing. And then I sit down, I talk to my record label head, we're on the phone call, I have assets due. Then I sit here and I start going through old music that we're doing, and then I've got to write up lyrics for my new release. And then I'm doing this, and then you and I text back and forth. And I got a story out, and then I've got, rules for my label, things I need to do. It's called work. And then on the way here, though, I was feeling guilty because I was like, God, I have so much to do and I shouldn't have gone to do this, right? This is part of it.
Yeah, it is.
Working out is part of it. Creating your heart. When I don't work out, my stamina on stage sucks. So, but the thing I'm saying is, by the time I got to you, thank God I was paying attention, by the way. You guys would still be waiting for me because I screwed up the time. But it was like, I feel like if people knew what we did to be able to get to do this business, and I've been in the business since I was a kid. So, but what we do for it, they would almost respect it. And I feel like they don't. They feel like they just think that we're just like, well, I'm talented, let me get on stage. You don't look at a lawyer or doctor like that. You respect him for all the years that he spent.
Right.
Why don't we get that respect? They look at us like it's a hobby. And if you don't have a Grammy, which is my dream, if you don't have a Grammy, or you're not literally on everyone's lips, you're just not, you're not important to them. And I'm telling you, I know I'm on especially iHeart, but look at the music you guys support. Those people work so hard, and you might not ever see them on a huge platform on TV, but they work their asses off. Just like I should have a PhD because I've been in the industry.
Right.
And so, okay, I'll be honest. There's artists I think are terrible. I'm not going to lie, but you'll never hear me talk about them. Not even to my friends. You know why? I respect them. I totally respect them. I don't care if they're good or bad. You're working your tail end off. You go. You know what I mean? Even if I don't like you, there's this one person I can't stand their music. I don't even like this person. I don't. Just they're not good humans. But I can look right at you and go, but I do respect what they're doing because they're working really hard. See?
And today it's actually more difficult. I feel that it's more difficult to get signed, or actually, like, record companies don't seem to sign people anymore. It's distribution companies that sign you.
Yeah, and like I'm Sony Orchard. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I had friends of mine that were with Sony Orchard, and things didn't really turn out well for them with Sony Orchard. But not saying that it's not going to help with you, but that's the thing. It's like, it's distribution companies today. When back in the day when my entertainment lawyer said, I will walk that right across the street to Sony. I'm like, yeah, you know, n- that's when it was like, okay, so they offered me this $300,000 deal for one album and a tour. And I'm like, well, but the recording costs had to
What
come
was
out of
the
my
cost?
pocket.
What was the cost and what was the tour support? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm like, no, no, you need to pay for the recording cost also, and the producer.
So add on that.
No, 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 we're not going to do this. And then this was in the 90s.
Oh,
And they're like, no, no, you're gonna leave $300,000. I go, yeah, because you know what? I know of another band that you gave the exact same deal to, and they had to go back to like their home area and start playing there because they didn't sell enough merch, they didn't sell enough CDs out on the road. So they had to go back to where they knew they could sell out places so that they could pay that $300,000 back. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. That money that they give you,
loan, people, is a loan, right?
it's a loan, isn't it? You're paying with it from every job, every promo that you're doing, your merch sales, all of that. You know it, I know it, you know?
But people think they're like, that's such a great deal. And I'm like, but I have to pay it all back. And and I don't see a dime until that's all paid back. Check this out. There's an artist. This is when it woke me up, Sue. Like you hit the nail on the head. There's an artist that got $1 million deal. Hold on. Cool. Very excited. Very excited. Mm-hmm. Very large deal. That's a lot of top chart placement, by the way. Well, the million's great, but then they were all going on jets. You know where I'm going with this? Jets, expensive dinners, all the stuff. And that artist never recouped. But you know what they did gain? A bill for all those jets, all those dinners. And by the way, the exec dinners, I remember reading, or these are good friends of mine that happened to, and I was like, wait, what? They can do that? They're like, yeah, they can. Just like back in Motown when they give you heroin to get you to sign a contract. I mean, they can't, because we were so desperate to be stars. We're just like, I want to be a star, And so I think what's happening in our industry now is we're becoming a little wiser to it. And, someone's like, you're too old to be in this industry. That pisses me off more than anything. I'm like, do you know what too old means? It means I'm wiser and I've figured it out.
Yeah.
When I was 21, they were like, everyone was like, you have the whole package and come with me here and we'll go here. And, and you're just like, oh my God, they love me. No, they don't. They can move me around. They might have loved me. I mean, they might have loved the talent. I'm just saying. But their money fix was more important than mine.
That's what the industry has come to.
Yeah.
And it's always a payback. And then if you write the song, okay, well, then you're going to have to give us a certain percentage of the copyright. Well, you didn't write the song. You're getting off of the publishing right.
Yeah, no. That deal they told me to walk away from, mm-hmm. They wanted 50% of my publishing, and they wanted 50% of my publishing and something else, whatever it was. When my attorney goes, no. So, songwriting. He's like, wait, they want 50% of your songwriting? Yeah. No. And I knew. I was like, what? No, I wrote the song. You don't get 50% of my writing. No.
Right.
So we counter offered, and that's when that happened. Who does she think she is?
That, unfortunately, that is, I mean, the music business, even though it has changed to distribution companies and they make a percentage off of every CD that they sell, and you're recouping some money on your shows and you're recouping money on your merch and stuff. Um, they want to be paid back. Their bottom line is the dollar. And so in today's what I've noticed with today is it's just this like, well, how many followers do you have, or how many likes do you have on your YouTube video? I won't put any of my stuff out there for that reason.
Yeah, for that reason. And unfortunately, what stinks about that is, what would I see? I saw someone, they had how many millions of streams and what they got paid versus someone who's just doing dog and cat videos is getting paid a shit ton. Excuse me.
Right. No, yeah. No.
I saw the numbers next to each other. I was like, whoa, wait. We've been writing songs and we're making this much. And this person's releasing dog and cat videos and they're making what? So it's hard because I truly do believe that for me, I am a peace, love, and free music, but not really. I mean, it's like, so I tell my audience, I'm like, you guys, right now, our day and age is so different. Buy some merch. Please buy a ticket to a show because it's not, and you know this as well as I do. And if you don't, you're new to the industry and you're watching this. I would buy my albums, when we go through our distribution company for maybe under $1, $1.50, maybe $2.
Mm-hmm.
Sell them for 10 to 15. And right. So if you had a distribution deal, I bought them for 5 or 6, right? So we made good money, is my point. You still made $4 or $5 or more off of your profit margin was much larger. So I teach audiences, I'm like, here, let me teach you guys something. Let me teach you about streaming. Let me teach you about this. But we don't make, so buying a ticket to a show, a tip jar for those of you that work for tips, tip big, buy tickets to a show, that's supporting your favorite artist. Unfortunately, we don't sell albums anymore. We do. Shockingly, shoot, I was going to see if I had one of my albums in here. I have an album I don't release. That's never been released. Where's it at? I don't have it. I'm looking around my office files. So I sell this record for $15. Do you know why I sell it? It's just a picture of me on the front. So it's an 8x10 basically.
Right.
I don't know if they use the disc for coffee or if they're actually like, is it your coffee holder or your beer holder, or do you actually have a CD player? And you know what I mean?
The truth though. That and I also have heard where if you go to play festivals, some of the festivals want a percentage of your merchandise.
Oh, I hate that. Oh my gosh.
What is up with that? No. That's your money.
Our contracts
should be yours.
We will fight that back on contracts. Unless it's they have their merch people or something like that, it's a different story. But if I have my merch girl or Trisha's been with me a long time. Why am I paying you a percentage? So, I mean, I don't want to turn this into a bitch session, but what I'm just really recognizing in the music industry in general, let me put it all together. I love what I do. And I could die tomorrow and everybody that would say, how would you describe Rachel? Music. That's all she wanted to ever do. And I've had heavy success and I've had low success. Have I had grand success where I'm out, with Keith Urban, I mean, I don't know. Have I been with the biggest names in music? Yes. But we all have. We working artists get to do that. That's the best part of the industry.
That's the best part of it.
I love it.
It's all the politics that goes with it that gives it a bad name, because we love doing that. We love entertaining for people. Just as we said in the opening, we love that feedback that we get from the audience. It's the business itself. It's the politics of the business.
Right. And I think you just said something perfect. The politics of the business. I know there's politics in every job, right? However, there is room for us all. And for those of you competing, it's kind of weird to compete because there's really no need to compete anymore, especially because the record labels aren't plotting you against each other, which is like Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears. They ended up working together. I mean, it's just like, you had all these different competitions. It's not like that. I had many years ago, I was taken off of a very large female artist. I'll say Gretchen Wilson. I was taken off a show, and because I'm too strong.
What?
It broke my heart. I was like, what? They said, and they talked to my manager, and they said they needed a complete opposite of Gretchen, like not as strong as Gretchen. And I was just like, dude, I love to support my females. I'm not saying Gretchen didn't do this. This was all between management. And then as an artist, what did I do? I'm like, I guess I'm not very good. I'm just, I was very sad. And they was just like, okay, oh well. And then I realized, I was like, oh wait, that doesn't define me. Just because I'm not, if you say I'm too strong, then I'm going to go live as too strong of an artist. There's just room for us all, is my point. You can't be like, I love, oh, help me here.
The camaraderie.
No, what's the Barbra Streisand, the original one, and that Lady Gaga redid? The movie. Dang it.
Oh yeah. A Star Is Born.
Star Is Born. The reason why that's such a perfect movie, because it's very legit. Like, he pulls her up there. He genuinely wants to push her.
Yeah.
She ends up becoming a huge star, and he basically drinks himself to death, right? That is very common in this industry, but his heart was in the right place. And he was kind of a has-been, or whatever he thought in his head. If he'd have lived in our day and age time, now we're talking about a movie, but I'm saying, if they lived in our day and age and time, you kind of reinvent yourself. You're like, oh, okay, well, go like that, whatever. And I love the fact that I get to spread music. Like, I went to a blues jam Sunday night, and I do, a lot of those people know who I am, whatever. And I came in, and they had a young guitar phenom get up, and his name is Isaiah. He's amazing. Oh my gosh. I don't think he's 18. I don't even think he's 17. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So I want to introduce myself, and I wanted to make sure he just thought I was art. I'm an artist. I want you to know how awesome you are. And I said, you are absolutely. He goes, oh, I know you. You're Rachel Stacey. And he was like, I love your stuff. I was like, wait, what? What? Me? He's like, yeah, you played the guitar show, and I was there, and he did this post. His mom did a post, and I recognized. I was like, oh my gosh. That's how we do this. We spread it to the younger generation, so they're excited and they go to the next thing. Because when I was his age,
right,
I was excited. You came up to me. You do your job by continuing to support the younger, and I'm younger, and like the older people that come to me and help me. So it starts, and it's a teamwork. And whoever goes to a different level, you can always come back down, no matter what.
It's not a race. It's not a competition.
Not a competition. And I try to tell, I'm an artist. I compare myself. I'm like, oh, just, my song's not doing well. And, I'll be honest with you. I am a true blown insecure girl. Very, very. I can play like I'm tough. I can get out there and be like, I'm good. I'm awesome. But if you get to the grassroots of me, I'm a very insecure little girl. All I want to do is spread love in my music. That's what I want. But then the harder side of me is like, screw you. I'm going to spread my piece of my music. You know what I mean? Like, there's two sides. And that the only way I get to continue doing that is nobody can tell me not to do it. I have to keep doing it. I have to rebel against what society's telling me and continue to do what I'm good at. Because there might be 100,000 people that can't stand my music, but there's 100,000 people that love it. Because there's 7 billion or whatever people in the world.
Exactly.
There's room for us all. And if we're not supporting each other, and females especially, my favorite girl, can I tell you, I fangirl. She's not even a musician. I love Bunny. I love Bunny and Jelly Roll. I am obsessed with her. Do you know why I'm obsessed with her? Because she's real. Not because of any other reason except that woman is real. She shy away from the truth. And that's what we as women were taught in the industry to be like, oh, because I'm sober. I've been sober 12 years. I was told early on not to tell people I'm sober. I was told early on that I need to lie about my age. I was told I need to lose weight. I was told I'm a little too fat. I was told I'm too skinny and I need to gain pounds. I was too muscular at one point. Hi.
Facebook user.
Facebook user. Women, thank you. And that's the thing is, it was like, wow. And I was letting it, Sue. It was slowly depressing me. And because you don't do this right and you don't that right. And then you flip it and go, oh, I got to believe in myself. Susan's got to believe. I mean, Sue's got to believe. Sorry, I called you Susan. Sue's got to believe in herself.
Hello, Elizabeth. I never use Susan. 12 years of Catholic school. It must have been her.
Yeah, and see, and that's the thing is like that's on a female front. And Sue, I love you because you're just positive and you like bleed like women. Let's support each other. That's awesome. And we need that to thrive. We really do. And I write songs. I have a song I'm literally meeting Thursday about. It's my song called Beautiful. Hot Mess, we're working on right now.
The one that I love. That
yes, you're our inspiration to finish it. We're like, Sue needs this.
Yeah.
Song. So we got our favorite producers working on it, but you give artists like us a chance. At the same time, you're a musician, so you get us and you're able to feel us and spread what I just said, peace, love, and music. And that's not every woman's MO. They don't want another woman to get anywhere past them. And I'm here to spread the word to go, no, ladies, don't look at it like that. Let's do this together. So my song Beautiful, I don't see what you see, I see beautiful. It's a theme song for women to like support each other and love yourself first. And that's when I get all cheesy artist. I'm like, so I wrote the song, so we gotta be peace, love, and music. But as a fiddle player, that's there's only a handful of us left as fiddle players. The songwriter in me wants other women songwriters to come forward and bind together and work with each other.
That's what it's about, and thank you for saying, what you did positive about me, because when I was asked to do the show, I'm like, well, I know how to run my mouth, not run my mouth, but
you know to talk to business.
And the thing is, I'd like to connect with musicians because I understand them probably the best.
Yeah.
After being in the industry for so many decades. And I'd like to use this platform. And Rachel, I've been following you for quite a while, and I appreciate that you gave me the opportunity to bring you to this station. We're worldwide, and to give you even that much more recognition because I believe in you. And it's like your music. And I don't know if this is a bad habit or not, but this is the way I am. I listen to the first 30 seconds of a song. If I don't like it, or if something doesn't grab me within the first 30 seconds, I'm moving on either to the next track of the album or I'm moving on to the next artist. And I heard you and I'm like, now that girl has something. I like her.
Oh,
and that was it. And that's why I continued to follow you. And I thank you immensely for coming on and giving it from a female perspective, because you were in the rock industry early on, so what the rockers are like. I've always been in the rock industry. I did a little bit of country for about 3 years, but it was kind of country rock, that sort of stuff, but and acoustic.
We call it crock.
Crock. I like that. Crock. Yeah. I mean, but you and I could sit and talk for hours. because we can compare notes, we can compare people, people of the industry. And when I say the industry, I mean those people that are out there doing it every night or looking for, the next festival that they can play to better themselves, and okay, well, we'll take a lesser amount of money because we want to do this opening act, and then maybe we can get seen by so and so and so on and so forth. And then this stuff happens and it's like, you're being real about it.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that I can be.
Well, because you've lived it. I feel like you've lived it.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people, like, I songwrite coach and to a couple amazing people, and Paula's one of mine. And her and I, it works. It clicks when I work with her and her songs. And I said, it's not going to be that way with everybody. I said, but I don't know it all. I'm just showing you what I've learned. I'm just being real with what I've learned. I'm not saying my way's right, my way's wrong. And for some reason, her and I just click really well as me coaching her songwriting, and she's just gets to get better and better. And then I work with mentors and I get better and better. And what I recognized is I was like, oh, I don't know everything. There's so much to learn about this industry still. And I've been in this since I was a kid, but now professionally, not as long, but meaning in the music world, music and theater world. Right. And I recognize that when I'm talking to people now, I'm like, oh, I'm just sharing what I know. It's not right or wrong. Hi.
There's a country singer.
Yeah. And I think what's the interesting part about that is that, okay, someone said I'm a country singer. I used to answer you and you're like, what kind of music are you? And I said, music, because I'm a writer. And yes, I'm a musician. I'm a violinist, meaning I'm a symphony player turned fiddler because I started blues, jazz, and country. And, I play guitar. I can play country guitar. I can play rock guitar. It's the blues. Okay. Yellow. So people would lump me into a category or not be able to lump me into a category, which drove the industry nuts, especially in LA when I first got there. They're like, we just don't know where to place you. I'm like, in a music, I don't know either. But the point was, like, I feel like all that experience that you have and that I have, we get to pass it on, and it's not right or wrong. It's just our it's just our, it's just our experience that we get to maybe touch somebody else's life, and hopefully somebody listens to my music, comes to a show, buys a ticket, buys some merchandise.
Right. And as a songwriter myself, it's like, well, sometimes it's kind of like crossover, easy listening, but then somebody else could put a spin on it and make it sound completely different.
Great example. Fast Car.
Ding, ding, ding.
Right.
Chicken dinner. Huh?
We redid Drift Away. I just redid Empty Glass. Even though it's still country, it's still not like Gary Stewart's. I put a different spin on it.
That is so good. That run, that vocal run that you do in that song, that you go up, is like, every time I hear that, it gives me goosebumps. I'm like, she has got that so well. And actually, we wanted to play it. We only have 2 minutes left.
God. We got to talking. Darn it.
We could. You and I could talk for hours. We'll have to exchange phone numbers or something.
Yes, totally.
Hey, I'm here. I'm like, it's like, okay, all right, I'll come see you, or we'll trade different ideas and things of that nature. And I can't wait to hear your new song, since like I heard just a little bit of that with you and your friend doing it, and I'm like, that song's on.
Oh, that one. Okay. Hot Mess is going to be great. But I was going to tell you something real quick. Empty Glass, to me, even though it's not my song, it's still my song. And Gary Stewart's daughter had messaged me and said, thank you for recutting my dad's song. She goes, you did the song justice, or whatever she said, the vocals are on point. And that, there's a lot of diehard fans that are mad about it because I changed it. And I'm like, so I responded to them. I'm like, look, this is my interpretation. I'm a sober girl who that song meant everything to me when I was drinking. And if anything, it touched my life, and I'm getting to recut it and say, this is how I felt. This is how I feel at times. And so like Hot Mess, we've all been there. It's just all these different. So you and I get to experience that together because we've been in the industry long enough that I get to go, okay, I understand you feel that way, but this is my interpretation. It's my artwork. It's the way I'm doing it. It's not right or wrong. If you play it wrong, we have a problem. That's why we have musicians out there.
Houston, we have a problem. But
Okay.
I stay, Rachel. I'm sorry,
It's okay.
Rachel. I have to have you back on because when you get Hot Mess done, okay, then
Okay.
we're going to have to get into the music.
Okay.
Okay, and I want to play Empty Glass because I keep listening to that song and I'm like,
Well,
I
let's play
love
with
this
the
song even more every time I hear it. And then that vocal in there is just
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
it's crazy. So I mean, I I have to close out. I'm so sorry that I have to do that because I know we have people that are watching that are going, okay, well, what else are you going to talk about since you guys just complained about the business?
I
Well,
don't know. We weren't complaining. I swear. We were just telling you.
that's what we do. We're women, right? High five to your sister.
That's
It's
awesome.
what we do, but we are going to continue to play Empty Glass.
Thank you guys. And
And
thank you for everyone for doing that.
it will stay in rotation, okay? Not just because, you were on tonight, but it will stay in rotation. You send me Hot Mess when it's ready or whatever, whatever new stuff you have. I'll get it in rotation.
Yeah, and the new one's coming out March 29th. That's 3 words. But Empty Glass is my radio release. 3 words is my DSR. And then, there's all kinds of stuff. You got it.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Thank you.
yeah. Well, I'll send you my info. You send me your info, and we'll definitely do this again, and we'll get more in depth into the songwriter of Rachel Stacey.
Yay! That means the world.
Rachel, thank you so much for joining me. It was immensely. I love you dearly. I did as soon as I heard your stuff. I'm like, I love this girl. I love this stuff.
Dude, thank you for supporting us. Yes.
If you want to get merchandise or anything, any information on Rachel Stacey, go to rachelstacey.com.
Please buy my merch.
That's it. And sign up there it is, rachelstacey.com. And sign up for her mailing list, and it will keep you updated on what she's doing. So, yes. Rachel, hugs to you, darling.
I'm here, and I'll send you my
close out. Yeah, the show will end. You and I will talk after the show.
Yay! You guys are
all right, Doc. It's on you.